All I can say is, I'm glad the world likes my carpetings. You know, it wasn't easy to get those little symbols inside of all the carpetings. Those little like symbols. Whenever you see a movie and you look at the floor and the carpeting and the beautiful, like the gold and blue little patterns all over the carpeting. I don't think people realize exactly how hard that really was. And when you see the beautiful fabrics with embossment, I mean the Orientals of course know. A lot of specialists know exactly how hard that was. But but a lot of the fine fabrics and the beautiful patterns that you see in movies, and the carpeting and the ornate carved wood and everything, I don't think anybody truly really understands how hard that was, or how expensive it was either. Ugh, it was expensive. Trust me, I do actually know. But I mean, it's just amazing how so many people can live life like Bill Gates and everybody else and lots of other people can live and go through life and not truly understand who actually paid and actually spent money and actually worked very hard to invent the things that made those carpetings possible. Anyway, but of course, I would be remiss, as they say, to not, of course, point out all the great artisans who actually did help, and the great people who actually kept the country together, as they say. Um, Although present generations, I mean, they did a lot within this generation. It's true, but a lot of the work I think was done in 1800s and before this generation was ever came along. A lot of this generation was actually born into the world that was pretty much modern and nice. Um, I probably am one of the only few people who actually worked with the previous generations. Like I say, um, a lot of people have grown up, seeing this world and enjoying it, going to school, thinking about all the things, and they think about like computers and stuff, and they don't really understand exactly the way the world really was once upon a time, a long, long ago, um, when I was a child. Relatively, yes. It's kind of weird how I could have played a part over so many centuries, or how I paid for so much, or how I changed the world so much. But it's true. Well, the world was different back then. You didn't have civilization. And before civilization, becoming rich and affecting the history of mankind and the future for everyone was easier back then. And that's something I actually played a part in. And kind of why every now and then, whenever Rodney or somebody else speaks up and tells me I'm crazy or gets on my case, I feel like just going, shut the fuck up. Sorry. Anyway, because of the fact that I actually, Roman times, all that stuff, my inventions, and they piss me off because I am that person that actually did affect destiny, and it's very well documented. Anyway, and now they just kind of like try and confuse children and do all this little thingy, blah, blah. It's like, about that. It wasn't quite that way. And certain people like Rodney and Rick Bush and the Jehovah's Witnesses almost caused a war. In fact, they did cause a war. Oh, it was so close. I don't know. It was bad. Very bad. Anyway, but God save the king and queen. We've got through it together. Anyway, no help from certain people. That's why I say it's kind of funny when people talk about society going to pieces. It's like, I'm pretty much responsible for building society, so yeah, not too worried about it. Like I say, society going to pieces. It's so convenient when someone just happens to leave a society just lying around. Like, oh, look, a perfectly functioning society. How'd that happen? Awesome, I'll just pick it up. No, I didn't. My life was never that easy. I actually had to build and work with society, and actually, like I said, me in a small college, we lit all of London for free. We created a bridge for free too. Me and a college actually did it. They were college students, I think 25 years old, and they built and they actually lit all of London for free, pretty much. And I funded them, so I was like, I don't, and I was like, you know what, guys, we're gonna have to build it. So we built it, and it's been a long time, and I think it ran London on gas power for free for some period of time until population got a lot larger. Anyway, a lot of the things I did basically are pretty much the past history, whatever, and they were great and wonderful. Like my little mock steamboat, where we put 5 steamers inside of an engine and then tried to run a steam turbine, and a school worked on it and got a more efficient turbine. And they used a machine shop, and I supplied them with financial support and everything. I was like, all right, guys, you build a better one, and we'll put it inside a ship. And they did. They worked very hard on it, and I was very proud of them. Like I say, and it's past ancient history, or at least old history, like 1950s, 1940s history, where one college was pretty cool. I think it was like 3 colleges that actually competed to actually do that. And they finally beat me. I had the fastest steamer for a while, but mostly because I had 5 steam things, and then and I had the speed record on the waters for the small steamship, and for like 3 years in a row basically, and then finally a college actually beat me. And they took the gold. But I mean, I was still funding it, so basically it's still kind of me, but anyway. Anyway, though, it took them like a year or two before they actually beat me, because I don't know, I had a pretty efficient one. And we tried a couple of different steam designs out too back then. I forget which one was mine. Anyway, one of them was my direct actual steam engine, and then the college took it over, and then they managed to build a more efficient steam engine than I did, kind of. But they're pretty cool. Anyway, and then I was like, okay, I'll fund it. Let's build it. And then I actually ordered a big full-size version built so they could play around with it, and they did. And that was a long time ago, and that became the Queen's ship, actually, the Queen's private yacht. It's actually my ship, but whatever. So is the Titanic. Anyway, though, yeah, well, I was very wealthy, and I funded schools. Do you know how much it costs to fund a college? Do you have any idea? A lot. But I got to use their findings and stuff inside companies, and I was like, okay, go build it. Anyway, though, and then we get relative, and I become arguably poor. I'm not exactly sure, but when you're in a country, it's like, anyway. Anyway, though, but like I say, I mean, that's why I'm not really worried about civilization falling apart. It's like, I was instrumental in building it, so I'm not really worried.